This video is brought to you by AztecaSoccer.com, your one-stop shop for all the latest and greatest soccer gear. Be sure to use coupon code SR4U at checkout to receive 10% off any order of $75 or more.
Hey guys, Josh from SoccerReviewsForYou.com, bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the Nike Hypervenom Phantom 2 in the latest liquid chrome pack colorway, which consists of metallic bronze, black, and white. Now inside the box, they do include a couple of extras. The first thing they include is this tag. Now this tag essentially lets you know that the graphic printed on the bottom of the sole plate will wear off over time, but of course won't affect the performance of the shoe. Something I'll talk about more a little bit later in the video. They also include a string bag, as you'd expect with all the top end models from Nike. Black string bag with black strings. You got a white Nike swoosh on one side and your white Nike football branding on the other. Other than that, all you're going to find inside the box, as you guys can see, are the shoes themselves. So we'll get these guys out of the box and we'll take a closer look at the metallic bronze liquid chrome pack colorway of the Nike Hypervenom Phantom 2 that I think looks absolutely amazing. So in today's video, we're going to take a closer look at the colorway itself. We're going to talk about performance. We're going to go over all the tech specs. We're going to take a look at the weight of the shoe, as well as talk about how these things fit and feel on feet. So if you're interested in learning more about this particular colorway of the Hypervenom Phantom 2, please stick around, watch the entire video. If you're interested in a pair of these for yourself, be sure to check out the review page on my website. That'll be the very first link down below in the description of this video. As soon as these things are available, I will have buy it now links on that review page, along with exclusive SR4U coupon codes, where you'll be able to pick these guys up below their normal $275 retail price. So again, if you're interested in a pair, first link down below, go ahead and check it out. And with that being said, let's get right into the review. To start things off, let's take a closer look at the colorway. Now, of course, this being part of the liquid chrome pack, it does feature a chrome/metallic finish to the upper. In this particular situation, the Hypervenom in the liquid chrome pack is a metallic bronze, which looks absolutely fantastic. The metallic color, especially on the Phantom 2, shows off all the texturing on the upper. So you get to see the micro texturing, you get to see all the embossed lines, you get to see the flywire cables. It really allows you to have all those elements pop, especially when you're up close. It's a very cool, detailed looking shoe, and I think the metallic bronze color in general just looks really, really good. Something to keep in mind, depending on the lighting situation, these may look more gold than bronze, but I don't necessarily see that as a bad thing. I would say from a distance especially, they'll probably come across as gold shoes, and it's not until you get up close that they look more bronze. But again, that's not really that big of a deal. It's just something I thought I would mention to you guys in the video. You are going to find that you do have that Hypervenom graphic there going along the outside edge as well as the inside here at the heel area. That does feature the combination of bronze and gold as well, but it, unlike the actual upper itself, is not metallic. And then of course you have a combination of the two colors on the sole plate as well, but it's not nearly as vibrant as what you're going to find on the rest of the upper. As far as the exposed flyknit area is concerned, going across the middle of the foot as well as on the collar, it's a combination of bronze and black, which just accents well with everything else. You're going to find a Nike swoosh in black with a white outline on both the front and back of the shoe, your ACC branding and Nike Skin branding right there in black on the medial side of the heel, black laces of course, and then getting to the sole plate, you're going to find that black graphic printed there that will wear off over time, so keep that in mind. All of the black here, that's what that tag I showed you at the start of the video basically lets you know. It will wear off because it's printed directly on top of the sole plate. With that being said, it doesn't wear off as quickly as you might expect, and I actually made a video specifically talking about this. If you want to check it out, I'll leave an annotation on screen. It essentially shows how the actual black graphic on the bottom wears off over time. So go ahead and check that out if you are at all interested. Again, there'll be an annotation on screen, but that's pretty much it as far as the colorway is concerned. Let me know your thoughts on it down below in the comment section. Do you like how these look? Why or why not? And with that being said, let's move on to the tech specs so we can learn a little bit more about the overall performance. As far as performance is concerned, the Hypervenom Phantom 2 is a very good shoe if it's the type of feel that you're looking for, because it certainly isn't for everybody as good as it is. Now, there is a playtest video of the Phantom 2 already up on my channel, so if you're interested in seeing these things in action, go ahead and check that out. I'll leave an annotation on screen. But for the sake of this video, we're going to be going over all the performance features and just talking about how these things feel in general to give you a better idea of what you're getting into should you take the plunge and purchase a pair of Phantom 2s. Now, the upper is definitely the most distinctive characteristic of this shoe. It's what they call Nike Skin. You can see the branding right here, but in comparison to the original Phantom, this version version of Nike Skin is a lot different. I would describe it as a thin synthetic, but one that is extremely dense. It's not quite as thin as what you're going to find from the Superfly or the Nike Mercurial Vapor 10, but similar to the Vapor 10, it really doesn't offer any extra padding on the ball. It's just thicker. So it's a very dense synthetic, and what I mean by that is it's very firm. There's not a lot of softness to this material whatsoever. Even with the Vapor 10, it's a thin, almost plasticky feeling material to the touch, but when it's actually on your foot, it's quite flexible and it feels pretty comfortable, whereas something like this is going to feel a lot firmer and not necessarily uncomfortable, but at the same time, not necessarily something that a lot of people like the feel of. So if you don't mind something that is very thin, but at the same time a little bit more firm in terms of how it feels on your feet, you're likely to not have any issues with the Phantom 2. So essentially it's a liner on the inside made from a synthetic leather material. Then you have a layer of this very tightly woven mesh, which is what's giving the shoe all of this texturing you see on the outside, and then a Nike Skin layer over top of that, acting as kind of the protective layer for the entire upper. Now the upper has quite a few different elements to it. The finish on the top side is relatively smooth. It reminds me a lot of what you're going to get from the Mercurial line. No real extra grip on the ball, just a little bit of texturing so it doesn't feel particularly slick, and it's also finished off with ACC all conditions control, so you're getting better grip on the ball in wet weather playing conditions. Again, it's a thinner touch on the ball. There's no real padding to it whatsoever, but it's not quite as thin as what you're going to get from the Mercurial Vapor 10. So it's more of a modified barefoot feel, I guess is the best way to describe it, and because of all these embossed lines, it does add to the general flexibility of the material, although it will never feel soft on your feet even after break-in time. It's just not the type of material to provide that type of sensation. What's great about this material though, and its firmness, is that it's extremely responsive, and when you combine that firmer synthetic with flywire cables, which is what they've done, running through the lateral and medial side of the shoe, you can see they go from the base of the sole into the lacing system. When you put these on your feet and pull the laces tight, your foot is not sliding around whatsoever. If you're looking for the most responsive feel of any shoe on the market right now, the Hypervenom Phantom 2 or Hypervenom Finish for that matter is what you're looking for, because like I said, they are very, very solid in terms of just having good structure to the overall construction of the upper itself. Now the laces are off-centered, as you guys can see, being pushed slightly to the lateral side, which I personally really like. We saw that on the original Phantom as well. And then of course you have your Flyknit elements, which span the middle of the foot where the tongue would normally be, and of course the dynamic fit collar. Now the collar and middle of the foot is an elasticated Flyknit. It's pretty much the same thing you would find on the full Flyknit models, the Superfly 4 and the Magista Obra from Nike, but it's kind of a blend of a standard synthetic and of course their Flyknit technology. So is the collar actually providing any performance benefits over something like the Nike Hypervenom Finish, which has the exact same upper minus the mid-cut design? The answer to that question is no. There's no performance benefit to the mid-cut design. All this is really doing is one, giving you a different look, and two, giving you a different type of fit and feel in the heel and ankle area of the shoe. There's no structure to this, there's no support, there's not really any extra protection either. It's there to give you more of a seamless sensation where the shoe feels like it flows from your ankle onto your foot as opposed to something being strapped to your foot. It's not for everybody, but if you like the mid-cut design and you like what the Hypervenom has on offer, the extra money that it costs for the Phantom 2 over the Finish is definitely worth it. Again, it really depends on what you want. You have an internal plastic heel counter. The collar itself is a little bit different than what you're going to find on the Superfly and the Obra, in that the seam right here is slightly pushed to the medial side as opposed to going directly down the back, which I personally find to be a little bit more comfortable. But again, it's not that big of a deal at the end of the day. You have a smooth synthetic leather liner on the inside, pretty much exactly the same as what you're going to find on the Superfly and Obra. The insole, fully removable mesh liner on top, no perforations. And it's made from a single layer of this ortholite foam, which is pretty spongy feeling, but at the same time quite firm as well. So underfoot cushioning is pretty good from this particular insole, nothing to complain about there. And the outsole, or sole plate, sorry, is again, kind of similar to what you're going to find from the Mercurial line from Nike, just a little bit thicker. It's made from a compressed nylon material that has some decent stiffness to it, but at the same time, it's flexible in the forefoot as you would want it to be. Stud pressure, not an issue whatsoever. And the stud pattern itself is, again, kind of like the Mercurials, but instead of bladed studs, they're conical in shape. So you're not quite getting quite as much bite when pushing off, but they are smaller profile, so they dig into the ground quite well, and because they're fully rounded, you still have that freedom to twist and pivot. So in comparison to the Mercurials, it's a bit of a trade-off in that you're not getting as much grip, but you are getting a little bit better maneuverability. I personally don't have any issues with the Hypervenom stud pattern. I really like using it actually. So as far as traction is concerned, on firm natural grass, being that this is the firm ground variation, you're unlikely to have any issues whatsoever. In terms of weight, the Hypervenom Phantom 2 is light yet solid. So for the sake of the video, I'm going to weigh this pair for you today in real time using this scale. Keep in mind this is a brand new pair in a size 9 US. We're going to throw them on the scale, and you can see that they weigh in at 7.75 ounces, the equivalent of 220 grams. So in comparison to the other mid-cut models from Nike, the Obra and the Superfly, that's a difference of about 20 grams or so, or 3/4 of an ounce. Not a significant weight difference whatsoever, but the Hypervenom Phantom 2 is the heaviest of the mid-cut models from Nike. With that being said, they're still under 8 ounces. They still feel nice and light on your feet, especially considering how well they fit and how well your foot is locked in when you pull the laces tight. So if you don't want the shoe feeling like it's flopping around on your feet, you're not going to get that sensation whatsoever with the Phantom 2. And despite them not being as light as something like the Superfly or the Mercurial Vapor 10, they feel just as responsive and honestly almost as light, just because of how responsive they actually are. All right, so here is a look at the liquid chrome Hypervenom Phantom 2s on feet. On my left foot, I have the stock black laces that come with the shoes, and on my right foot, I have a pair of metallic bronze reflective SR4U replacement laces. If you're interested in a pair of replacement laces for yourself, the website to go to is www.sr4ulaces.com. You'll find a direct link to that website down below in the description of this video. Now, in terms of how these things fit and feel on feet, they're very firm from right out of the box, and that will be maintained throughout the entire lifespan of the shoe. Unlike a lot of soccer cleats where they tend to get softer over time, this doesn't necessarily have that sensation. Like I said, it's a very dense, firm synthetic material, so yes, they'll get a little bit more flexible, but they'll never feel soft and cushioned against your foot. It's just the type of feel that this shoe has on offer. So if you don't like that, then maybe the Phantom 2 or the new Hypervenom line in general just isn't for you. As far as the mid-cut design is concerned, it does make for an interesting fit in the heel. So if you haven't worn a mid-cut model from Nike before, I really recommend that you take the break-in process very slowly. So don't wear them straight into a game or straight into a shooting session. Just make sure that you take your time with them, and as soon as you start to feel discomfort, take them off and then start again in the next training session until you can wear them comfortably for 2 to 3 hours at a time. Because once broken in, you're not going to have any issues at all. As far as width is concerned, they're not quite as narrow or not quite as tight fitting as what you're going to find from the Mercurial line, but it definitely is still a tight fitting shoe overall that will be suitable for most people. But if you have really wide feet, probably not the best option for you. As far as stretching is concerned, these things really don't stretch at all. The way they fit from right out of the box is the way they're going to fit for their entire lifespan. So just keep that in mind. And as far as sizing is concerned, they run true to size. So if you are looking to order a pair, I strongly recommend going for your normal size in order to achieve the best possible fit. I'm wearing my usual size 9 US, and the fit and the length is absolutely perfect. All right, guys, that is it for my review of the liquid chrome Nike Hypervenom Phantom 2. If you guys are interested in more info on this shoe, be sure to check out the review page on my website. That'll be the very first link down below in the description of this video. On that page, you'll find high quality images of this exact pair that I took myself that'll give you a better idea as to how these actually do look in person, as well as buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you'll be able to pick them up below their normal $275 retail price. So again, if you're interested in a pair, first link down below, go ahead and check it out. If you have any questions at all regarding the Phantom 2, leave them down below in the comment section. I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information linked in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, thanks for watching.